Jerusalem burned, and with it, the heart of a people. In 70 CE, the Roman Empire unleashed its full might upon the rebellious province of Judea. The target, Jerusalem, the sacred capital of the Jewish people. What followed was not just a siege, it was one of the most devastating urban battles in ancient history. Thousands died. The Second Temple, centerpiece of Jewish worship, was reduced to ashes. It wasn't just a military campaign, it was cultural annihilation. Tensions had simmered for decades. Rome had annexed Judea in 63 BCE, turning the Jewish homeland into a Roman province. Heavy taxation, political interference, and religious insensitivity fueled deep resentment. While some Jews cooperated with Roman rule, others called for revolt. In 66 CE, the spark ignited. A full-blown Jewish rebellion exploded across the region. Zealot factions seized Jerusalem, killing Roman forces and their sympathizers. For the Romans, it was more than a local uprising. It was a direct challenge to imperial authority, and Emperor Vespasian would not tolerate defiance in a land considered sacred by millions. Vespasian, a seasoned Roman general, was tasked with crushing the rebellion. Along with his son Titus, he began a brutal campaign across Galilee and the surrounding regions. City after city fell. The Romans employed scorched earth tactics, leaving destruction in their wake. When Vespasian was called back to Rome to become emperor in 69 CE, Titus took command. He turned his sights to Jerusalem, now heavily fortified and torn by internal Jewish factions. The Zealots controlled the city, but even they were divided. Civil war within the walls made Jerusalem vulnerable. Titus prepared to strike. In April 70 CE, the Roman legions encircled Jerusalem. 4 legions, tens of thousands strong, surrounded the city and began a methodical siege. The strategy was slow and deliberate. Cut off supplies, starve the city, then crush the defenders. Titus built massive siege engines, battering rams and towers. But Jerusalem was a fortress, defended fiercely from within. Archers lined the walls, and rebel groups launched surprise attacks. Yet as weeks turned into months, famine gripped the population. Food ran out. Water was scarce. The city's defenders fought each other as much as they fought the Romans. Chaos reigned behind the walls. By August, Roman forces breached the outer walls and moved into the city. Fighting was street by street, bloody, merciless, and personal. The final horror came with the assault on the Second Temple, the most sacred site in Judaism. Despite Titus allegedly ordering it spared, the temple was set ablaze in the chaos. Flames engulfed the holy sanctuary, and with it, centuries of spiritual tradition were lost. Thousands of Jews were slaughtered. Others were enslaved. The temple's destruction wasn't just the loss of a building. It was a rupture in faith, culture, and collective identity. Jerusalem had fallen. Jerusalem was left in ruins, its walls shattered, its people scattered. The siege had lasted 5 months and killed over 1 million according to ancient sources, though modern estimates are lower. Survivors were sold into slavery or forced into exile. The Romans paraded captured treasures and prisoners through Rome, celebrating with a massive triumph. The Arch of Titus, which still stands today, immortalized their victory and the looting of the temple. But for the Jewish people, it marked the beginning of a long diaspora, a scattering that shaped Jewish identity for millennia. The pain endured long after the swords were sheathed. The siege solidified Roman dominance in the Eastern Mediterranean and reminded the world of imperial might. Yet it also showcased the resilience of the Jewish spirit. Rabbinic Judaism rose from the ashes, preserving law and tradition without a central temple. Jerusalem would remain sacred, its memory carried in prayers and longing. Meanwhile, the Roman Empire expanded, but its victory planted seeds of future unrest. The memory of 70 CE lives on, in stone, scripture, and song. The fall of Jerusalem was not the end. It was the beginning of a deeper struggle for survival, faith, and return. The events of 70 CE weren't just ancient history. They shaped the spiritual and political landscape of our modern world. Jerusalem remains a symbol of conflict, worship, and resilience. The Roman siege reminds us what happens when political oppression meets spiritual defiance. It's a cautionary tale of empire versus identity, military power versus cultural legacy. And in every cracked stone and broken wall of ancient Jerusalem, we're reminded, sometimes destruction gives birth to a stronger purpose. What was lost that day was not forgotten, and what survives is the unshakable will of a people who still remember.